I think we're good now. I think we're good now. What are we thinking of this stream setup? I don't know, man. Hey guys, how are you guys? How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? It's nice to see so many friendly faces back. I'm glad to see everybody's doing all right today. Toho are very mean individuals, taking Gamera's release week and making it all about Godzilla. I completely agree, but it's kind of poetic. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys remember, back in the day, this wasn't Gamera, it's just Godzilla versus Godzilla going on here, but back in the day, for King of the Monsters, it felt like anytime we had any anime news at all, anytime there was any sort of anime news for Monster Planet, or actually it was the Planet Eater, wasn't it? Then Legendary would make a move, and then Legendary would announce something on top of it. So there was never any hype for animated movies. It's kind of what they did to Gamera here. I feel bad. I feel really bad. I really want the Gamera show to do well. I was actually, before this trailer came out, I dedicated my weekend to re-binging the Showa era of Gamera. I only made it through the first movie because of the trailer. -1 looks like a huge disaster film, doesn't it just? It looks wonderful. Hey guys, nice to see everybody. How's everybody doing? I don't know if I want my... I've got a warm light on. I don't know if I want it on. I turned it off. I guess I'll see how I like it. My eyes are kind of killing me from all this stuff. I don't know. It's probably just me. Who else wishes for a dub so they don't have to read like 2 hours of subs? I'm trying to hold in a sneeze. Well, Shin Godzilla was released with only subtitles, so I'm thinking this is only going to be subtitled as well. That being said, Shin Ultraman had a dub released. I don't know if Toho is going to produce their own dub for Shin -1. Toho is the one releasing it in the United States. The first time Toho has done that. I don't know if they're going to be doing their own dub. Don't get your hopes up for a dub. I'm going to think it's going to be subtitled, especially after this trailer was subtitled. I'm thinking it's going to be subtitles. Now, of course, they could, in an idealistic world, give us the option of seeing it subtitled or dubbed the way they did with Shin Ultraman, but that wasn't Toho. That was it Fathom who did that? It wasn't Toho. I would like to see it with both. I would like to see subs first and then a dub second. I like to see both. So it makes me a little sad that I won't be able to. Although the Japanese version is always better than the English dubs. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, yes. Hey, man, how are you? What are your thoughts on -1 potentially being rated R when it releases in the US? I personally think it might be the case, considering we saw people die on screen. I don't think it'll be rated R. I think it will be a hard PG-13. I actually think it'll be... I think it'll be one of those PG-13s that you watch and you're like, whoa, that was an intense PG-13. I think that's the kind of movie we're in for. I don't think it's going to be rated R. I actually am not even certain it'll get rated before it comes out. It should. The MPAA should rate it, but I'm not sure. Really surprising. It's a full release. I was expecting it to be limited. Yeah, I was too. I'm still... Part of my brain is telling me that they're still advertising the 40X and the Ford, the other type of 40 that they were having. Part of my brain is telling me that's only for Japan. In the US, it will not be the case. So I'm still kind of reluctant to say that it'll be a wide release here in the United States. If it is, I really hope it does well. I don't actually know what's coming out this November, so I don't know how this, or this December, huh? I don't know what this December film slate looks like, but because Hollywood is Hollywooding right now and not paying anybody, not paying their writers or their actors, they're kind of blinking on all their films and pushing them to 2024 when they hope that the strikes will be over. So seemingly, in a way, it's like the competition for -1 is evaporating quickly, which could actually make it a very big international contender. I don't know. It could be interesting. Yeah, Wonka, Aquaman 2. I'm not convinced that those movies will come out this year if they can be no press. Aquaman's going to probably come out because that movie's been on the back roll for 10 years now. But I could see Wonka disappearing from this year's film slate as a result of the nobody can promote it. Yamazaki has definitely delivered on what he told us. Oh, he sure did, didn't he? He sure did. It looks wonderful. Well, guys, I haven't started my breakdown yet. What's happened is, I don't think Aquaman 2 will be a non-factor, but I do kind of agree. I have a very busy week ahead of me. I'm actually not at home this week. I leave tomorrow for set. I'm working on a non-union film. Don't worry, non-union. I'm a non-union guy. I need to get my hours in before I can join the union. I'm working on a non-union film, so I'm going to be gone for a week, which is such an unfortunate time to be gone when all of this is going down. So I figured I'd pop on here to do this live with you guys, and then whenever I get time, I'll edit it into a concise video like normal. But for now, we're going to do this. It's just perfect, right? Every time I've got something like going on, that's when news drops. That's how you know stuff's real. Friggin' Monsterverse TV show, Monarch television show, which what a weird day for today to be the date they tell us when that show's going to drop. Nobody cares. You should have announced that 2 weeks ago. But Monarch television show does its first reveals when I'm getting on a plane to Burbank. So it's just so inconvenient all the time. They always time these announcements when it's just inconvenient. It's so true. When am I making the film? I'm working on the film. It's already been in production. I've already been on it. I'm returning to it tomorrow. So I'm going to be on it tomorrow through the rest of the week. So I'm going to be busy. So Godzilla's CGI? Yes, he's CGI. He is a CGI Godzilla. I guess that's a good point that I could mark down. I'll mark that down as my first point. I'll start my list. Unfortunately, I was going to dig through the trailer on screen with you guys. I'm not gonna because I don't know how we're feeling about copyright with Toho these days. So we're just gonna chat like this. So I tried to spruce up the visuals a little bit. So we'll do a little chat here, and I'll be able to edit it all together in another video. All right, where are we? -1 discussions. All right, picking up where we left off. Let's make a new entry. Godzilla -1 trailer 1. All things missed. Start our list here. And I don't really need to cover the thumbnails in this one because they're in the video. So this is Japan's second full CGI Godzilla film. This one's handled by Takashi Yamazaki. Takashi Yamazaki is doing VFX, making him the first Godzilla director to directly handle their own VFX. All right. Well, it's his company, not himself. I'll mark that. Yamazaki's company, but he's still credited in the credits as being the VFX supervisor. Okay. Alrighty. What are you guys talking about? How tall is the new Godzilla? He looks to be about 50 to he looks to be anywhere from 50 to 60 meters. Isn't the Monster Planet trilogy full CGI? It's a good point. It's a good point. Second fully CGI live action Godzilla film. Thank you for catching that, Godzilla 154. Godzilla 154, by the way. Dude, you're popping off these days. What are you doing? What is it called? I forget what that's called. 3D modeling. It's got a name. ZBrushing? Do you do ZBrushing? Is that what it's called? It looks great. It looks really, really great. I hope this new -1 will be better than Godzilla 98. Weird pick. I wonder what happened to Singular Point. Singular Point's not coming, guys. Singular Point Season 2 isn't... it went bye-bye. Thank you very much, Alden. I really appreciate that. Alden Tolbert, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. He says, I believe that Oppenheimer will be responsible for creating Awakening Godzilla since he created the nuclear bomb. I don't agree with you. I don't agree. I don't think that Godzilla is created by the nuclear bomb, nor awakened by the nuclear bomb in this film. I think he may be mutated by it, like Godzilla has been in the past. But I actually don't think that he will be... I don't think he will be created by it. I think because we'll go through it, but I think he's going to be up and around before he gets full Godzilla-fied in this movie. I'm now fully on board with the evolution theory. I just don't think it'll play out the way people thought. I think Godzilla is 55 to 60 meters tall. That's very Millennium height. That's normal. I'm using a phone app, actually, 3D sculpting on an app called Nomad Sculpt. Thanks. Wow, that's on your phone? That's incredible, man. Notable big movies, the end of the year, The Marvels, that's going to be big. Hunger Games prequel is going to be big. Trolls 3 is going to be huge because you never bet against children's movies when they have... You never bet against a children's movie sequel like that. Disney's Wish, I don't think is going to be that big. Napoleon, I don't think is going to be huge. Then we've got Wonka, Aquaman 2, I think both of those... I think Wonka will do okay. I think Aquaman 2 is going to be mostly DOA. Those open 2 weeks after -1. Okay, so -1 is going to be fine. It'll have IMAX screens for a week, hopefully, and that's all it will really need. I think it's going to be very front-loaded. I think -1 is going to have a very front-loaded opening weekend in the United States. I think overseas is where it'll do its big business. I'm not expecting a major box office turnout for it in America. Unless it's going to play in theaters. Unless it plays in theaters a lot. If the trailer plays in theaters a lot, I could see it doing really well. Setting prior to 1954 makes him exposed to atomic bomb rather than hydrogen bomb. Oh, that's a very, very interesting point, Alex. I'm going to take that note as well. That's actually a great point. This is the first Godzilla who may be directly impacted by the atomic bomb rather than the hydrogen bomb. Yeah, that's a super good point. I don't think he will be, though. I'm very curious to see how this is going to play out. I think a large plot point of the movie is going to be the use of an atomic bomb, but I don't think it'll be... I'm so curious to see what they do with this thing. I've heard a little bit of insiders info on it. Nothing plot related at all. But just like kind of tonally what the movie's kind of about. And I'm very, very curious to see it. Anything it makes here in the U.S. will be extra for Tokyo. Exactly. Or for Toho. Exactly, Chris. Exactly. It's just going to be opening up to a market pretty big. If it plays like the Demon Slayer movies, it could have legs all month long. Well, anime is bigger in the West than Godzilla is. So I don't know. This is not... yeah, this is a prequel to Godzilla's Revenge, yes. I think the CG looks wonderful. I'm excited to interact with other local fans when it comes out here. It's going to be super cool. I haven't had that experience since Shin, as the MonsterVerse films have more casual viewers. I completely agree. It's always wonderful when they do those yearly releases in November. Whenever they do those, you go to the theater and there's tons of Godzilla fans. It's always fun. Besides the 1954 film, what do you think it'll be most similar to? 1984, because I think a large plot of the movie is going to be America covering up Godzilla, and Godzilla destroying ships at sea, which is very similar but actually twisted on how the 84 movie starts out. Would you consider this a reimagining, remake, or even a prequel? Well, I definitely, at the moment... dude, literally the tip of my nose is getting itchy for some reason the more I talk. I don't consider it a prequel at all, because it has nothing to do with the other films. I don't think it looks like a remake. I think it looks like a reimagining. My biggest concern about this movie is that it still diminishes Japan's role in World War II, but we haven't. But we'll just have to see. That line, "This monster will never forgive us," is promising at least. Yes, Kaiju Cinema, I completely agree. This is something I talked about in, I don't remember what video, but my fear for the movie is that because Takashi Yamazaki is a very nationalistic director, which is there's nothing wrong with that, My fear is that he is going to have a movie that definitely downplays Japan's involvement in World War II and kind of creates a bit more of a victim complex for Japan. Now, I'm not saying he will do that. I'm saying that's my fear. Because as I understand it, as I've talked to people in my comment section, you guys have informed me, Takashi Yamazaki is not very nice to the imperial government. He's nice to the government that blossomed after that, which makes me think that, hey, maybe he's just going to be excited about Japan's blooming democracy. I actually think this is going to be an interesting plot point in the movie. I'm wondering because if you pay attention to those historical documents that we talked about in the last trailer, or the little 30-second teaser, there's historical documents that were written on a date when the Prime Minister of Japan was kind of deciding, where Japan's democracy was gonna head. And I think Godzilla is gonna show up and interrupt Japan's blooming democracy. And I think in a way what we could see the true tragedy of this movie, the true tragedy of Godzilla -1, and hopefully if this happens the movie plays it like this, but the true tragedy of the film could be not Godzilla destroying Japan, but Japan's democracy never taking shape, and so Japan kind of falls back into its more imperialistic ways, which would be very interesting. I think that'd be an interesting way if the movie treated that as truthfully a sad thing, and that's kind of the route they went. I don't know. I don't know. Trying to read this comment from Shingo. Shingo says, "Kore wa Gojira. Gojira. Ta. I'm gonna have to translate you, buddy. I can't. I'm still struggling to. I'm still getting off my. I'm still learning the language. I'm not good at reading it yet. Kore ga Gojira. I don't know that character at the end there. Kore ga Gojira. Kore wa Gojira. Da. I'm going to translate you. He says, "This is Godzilla." Well, I'm glad I took the time to figure that one out. Oh, there, he translated it for me. "This is Godzilla." Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for translating it for me. No way Japan can go back to the way they were. You don't know that. Godzilla just showed up to knock them all down. You don't know what this movie's going to do. Because Japan's going to need to defend themselves from Godzilla, and it's entirely possible that some radicals could come back up from the depths to take back over Japan and kind of free them from Godzilla, but in a way, doom Japan. Do you think the shot of the end, a -1 trailer, burning Godzilla, do you think it was burning Godzilla? That could explain the status of him looking like burning Godzilla. I actually don't think it is. I think it is Godzilla burning. I think it's a very different thing. I don't think it's burning Godzilla. I think it is Godzilla burning. But burning Godzilla very well could be. We'll talk about it. I hope you're right, Godzilla 154. If that's the case, I would probably be in love with this movie. What did he say? What did he say? What did I miss? This movie is more from the civilian POV, right? It might be very anti-imperial Japan. I kind of get the feeling when the lines about the government hiding stuff from the public. I completely agree, but I actually think they're talking about the United States government. I don't think they're talking about... Because the United States was occupying Japan. For those of you who don't know, here's a little history lesson for you. The Japanese public was not informed about what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They were not told the extent of what actually happened. They weren't told of it. They weren't told of what happened in the cities properly. They were told they got destroyed. They weren't told exactly what occurred until after the American occupation left. The American government was hiding information from the Japanese. This is a case where I could see that becoming a metaphor for the American government being like, oh, hey guys, something bad's coming your way, but not telling them what. I could see that being something that this movie plays upon. But yes, Yamazaki's work, from what I've heard from people who have seen his work, and I'd love to watch his movies, but from what I've heard from people who have seen it, he's not an imperialistic guy. He's just a nostalgic guy for the Showa era, which is totally different than being an imperialistic guy. Given that we have confirmed Bandai's listing of Monster B, I wonder if that's actually Godzilla after he gets majorly damaged. I'm wondering if it's Godzilla before he gets majorly damaged. I think the major damage happens at the start of the movie, not the end of it. I think it's the start of the movie. I disagree, Goji Wars. I don't think so. How possible do you think it is that we will see other kaiju such as Anguirus? I'm thinking not very possible. I'm not going to write it off, though. Do you think America would allow an armed Japan after World War II? I think that would go one of three ways. Now I'm really covering my bases. The way that I see most likely occurring in this movie is the American government initially is the one combating Godzilla at sea, and they fail to stop him. Godzilla does a big destruction of Japan. America's like, oh my god, that's really scary. You guys figure that out for yourselves. The Japanese try and rearm themselves to take on Godzilla, but it's a big struggle, and they have to kind of scrap together to stay alive. I mean, isn't that one of the taglines for the movie, like fight to stay alive or something like that? See, this is what I'm talking about, is this kind of like rising up from the ashes, rearming themselves to take their future into their own hands. And then I think the Japanese are not going to be able to stop Godzilla either. And then I think the Americans are going to step back in to team up with the Japanese to not stop, but just repel Godzilla. That's what I think is the most likely scenario that happens in this movie. Another scenario is where America totally just backs out after the first act and is like, we can't, Godzilla's way too powerful. We're out of here. And so then the movie becomes Japan fending for themselves, and in that case they would rearm themselves. The final way I could see it going is Japan tries to arm themselves, and then America is like, you don't get to do that. Nuh-uh. We're in charge, and we're taking Godzilla on ourselves, and they will fight Godzilla, and then Japan is mostly at the whim of someone else, which I don't think is the way this movie's going to go. How do you think the overall box office performance will affect Toho's Godzilla films? Well, I think it depends on if this movie does well, and I think this movie's actually going to do very well. I don't think it's going to do as well as Shin Godzilla, but that's because I haven't really looked into the box office performance of Takashi Yamazaki yet. I know he's a very revered Japanese filmmaker, so maybe it could do very well. Maybe it could even do better than Shin Godzilla. I think it looks better than Shin Godzilla. I think it actually looks significantly better than Shin Godzilla. But maybe it'll do really, really well in Japan. And if it does really, really well in Japan, I think it's going to incentivize them to continue to take advantage of the gaps between American Godzilla movies to release their own Godzilla films. That'd be great. Otherwise, if the movie doesn't do very well, I think it's kind of gonna just be a one-off, and then they'll go back to animated stuff. Knowing brief history of World War II, the U.S. would probably fight with Japan and lend exported U.S.-made ships to Japan to use. I think that's kind of what I'm talking about, is in my first scenario, the way that I actually think this movie is going to go, in my main scenario, the way I think this movie's probably going to go, where America fights Godzilla, they get their ass kicked, they back out for a bit, Japan gets their ass kicked, America, Japan team up. I think America's going to rearm Japan themselves. I mean, it's entirely possible that in that second scenario, that middle scenario where Japan is left to fend for themselves, that's where you would see the true tragedy of the film being kind of the imperial government rising back up to say, look, we told you guys, we told you this would happen, this is why we need to defend ourselves, which I think would be very unsettling to watch happen. I don't think the UN will get too involved with this movie, although they do mention allied forces, so who knows. Looks like more action than Shin already. Shin Godzilla is shockingly light on action. So that's for sure a bet. So that's a for sure bet that it will do better than Shin in the States. Also, it helps that we don't get like 4 days of it. Oh, as you just said, helps that we don't wait 6 months for a 2-week run like we did. Yeah, exactly. And Shin Godzilla didn't play consistently those 2 weeks. It just played on the weekends. So yeah, I think this movie's going to do better in America than it will in Japan. I think in Japan, Hideaki Anno is such a mythical filmmaker in Japan that I don't know. I think him going to a Godzilla movie, it was Japan's first Godzilla movie since Final Wars. I think there was a lot of things that played into Shin Godzilla being as successful as it was. And I don't personally think this movie has all of that kind of background propelling it and giving it momentum, despite the fact that I do think it looks genuinely better. How do you feel about the atomic breath being blue again instead of a new or different color? Well, Yamazaki is a traditionalist, so that doesn't surprise me. Although I think it's a little safe, but that's fine. If this is supposed to be the definitive Godzilla, I mean, for those of you who don't know, as I've mentioned before, Toho's not making this movie for no reason. Toho is making this movie, and I do know this for a fact from my sources. Toho is making this movie as a response to the Monsterverse, not in opposition to it. They like the Monsterverse. They're just making it as, look at what else Godzilla can be. He doesn't just have to be one thing. He can also be this thing over here. And this thing over here, if this thing over here is supposed to be the true, traditional, accurate representation of what Godzilla could be, then it completely makes sense that they would go with the blue atomic breath because it's the most standard. I just wish that Godzilla had white-tipped spines. It's been too long since we've had that in films. Never been an issue of mine. I could take them or leave them. No, I'm sorry you feel let down. Sorry you feel let down about the atomic breath color. I think it's fine. Yes, Toho is saying that you cannot typecast Godzilla. Ultima is your favorite design. Because of the multicolored spines, huh? Ultima's cool. You know who's still sitting on my desk from when I reviewed him? This is this little guy. Oh, I have a... Nah, I won't get it out. I don't want to get up. I got a Bandai Godzilla the Ride. It's pretty neat. Pretty cool. Bottom line is, it's a Godzilla movie. Go support it. I agree, Jesse. Far as I'm concerned, Shin Godzilla 2 was never canceled because it was never planned to be made. Mr. L, you're wrong. They did plan a Shin Godzilla 2. Hideaki Anno wrote the script. They pitched it to Toho, and there are varying reports on what happened after that. The movie did not get greenlit, but it also didn't get canceled. So, there you go. Morning from Australia. What a great morning with a new Godzilla trailer. What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Do you think there will be any sequels, or will this be a standalone film like Shin Godzilla? How much screen time do you think Godzilla will have in this new movie? I could not care less about how much screen time Godzilla has in the new movie. All I care about is that he has a good screen presence in the movie. That's all I care about, and I think he will have a great screen presence in the movie. As far as your other question, what was it? What was your first point? What was your first point? Where did that comment go? Oh, do I think there will be any sequels? I think it entirely depends on the reception to this movie. I'm thinking if there is a good reception, a positive reception to this movie, then yes, there will be sequels. What's up, Nuts for Kaiju? Hey, it's been a long time since I've seen it. What's up, man? Any details on the canceled script, or did they keep it all hush-hush? All we know about the canceled script was that it was supposed to be the exact opposite of what Shin Godzilla was. While Shin Godzilla was a biting and gripping political thriller, many of us thought it's a great political satire. Shin Godzilla 2 was supposed to go in the exact opposite direction and play into the more campy, exciting, action-packed Showa energy And basically it was going to overlap with what the MonsterVerse was doing. The trailer is trending on #1. That's fantastic. That's what we love to hear. We love to hear that. Why do I think they chose this plot rather than a reimagining of the original? Because I don't think they want to redo the original. I think they'd rather do something new. I also think it just came down to what Yamazaki wanted to do. I think Yamazaki is a guy who's clearly wanted to tell a Showa-era Godzilla film since at least 2006. So it makes sense that this is what he did. I know 1954 is still the Showa era, but Yamazaki really likes the 40s. If you haven't paid attention to Yamazaki's work, the Always films are set in the early 50s, the turn of the 40s to the 50s. The movies have a full plot line about the building of Tokyo Tower. So he loves this specific time period. It's clearly what he's studied. It's what he spent a lot of his life researching and making films about. And it completely makes sense that he would use all of his knowledge to give us a grand Godzilla film. Do you think they will use Akira Ifukube's themes? Absolutely. I think Ifukube's themes will be back. Where did you see that? Where did you see that, TT Kong? Where did it say Serizawa's sister? Where's Serizawa's sister? Serizawa's sister, huh? You're talking about Noruki Oishi. Noruki Oishi. I don't see anything about her being Serizawa's sister. I see her listed as a strong woman living alone, burnt out post-war Japan. She meets, what's his name? Shikishima. She meets Shikishima. I'm gonna have to get used to his name. On her way home from the war. Where does it say she's Serizawa's sister? What are you talking about? Think there will be multiple Roar versions throughout the movie? Absolutely, yes, I do. You guys ever open up the -1 website? Does yours just jitter? Mine's jittering a ton. Happy Labor Day, guys. Weird. I want to see Shin Godzilla 2 as well. I'd love to see that. Yeah, as I said, I do think Ifukube's themes will be back. Do you think Godzilla will get radiation poisoning? I don't think Godzilla will get radiation poisoning, but I do think he will give it. You know what would be a really interesting thing? What's up from Germany, Kaiser? How's it going? You know what would be really interesting is if a very War of the Worlds type way, it does shake. Okay. It looks really ridiculous. It'd be really interesting if in a very War of the Worlds type way was H.G. Wells. If it was Godzilla dies at the end of the movie, not because the military stopped him, but due to radiation sickness himself. That would be very interesting. I'd love that, actually. That'd be really sad. That would be a way to make us feel really tragic and sorrowful about Godzilla himself. I don't know if Serizawa will be in the movie. I don't think we've seen him if he will be. I don't think he's in the trailer. I don't think he's one of the characters we have listed, even though a few of them don't have names. Yes, that looks like the atomic breath coming out of the water. Absolutely. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is going to be a huge set piece in the movie. According to some of the people on Japanese Twitter, Godzilla is closer to 40 meters rather than 50, but we'll see if official... Well, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's going to be 50 meters because Yamazaki's a traditionalist. I don't think he will be 40 meters. That will make him the smallest Godzilla ever, unless he grows over the course of the movie. If he grows over the course of the movie, then I could see him ending at 50 meters, kind of the same way that Ultima starts pretty small and then winds up huge. But I don't think he's going to be 40 meters, but I'd love to see where their info comes from. I think what's more accurately happening is, as in every Godzilla movie ever, Godzilla has never been scaled purposefully. He is scaled depending on what looks best for the shot, and it's never been accurate. Like, one of my favorite instances of Godzilla, he's too big for 40, I'd say 60. One of my favorite instances of them flubbing Godzilla's scale is in the movie Destroy All Monsters. Godzilla comes walking through the forest, and when he's walking through the forest, you've got all the soldiers down there, and they're looking up at him, and his tail's swacking the ground, and he walks past the camera. And the soldiers are like, Godzilla is smaller than King Kong in that shot. Short but chunky. Yeah, he's pretty chunky. How about the warships in the film? Most of them are Japanese, not American. Dan Blank 20? I don't know where your comment went. You disappeared. But Dan, if you could please tweet me your references. My Twitter is... I should know my own Twitter. I think it's dman1954 Gojira. My Twitter is at dman1954 Gojira. So please tweet me there. If you have info on the Japanese warships used in this trailer, please tweet me there. I'd love to dig into that. Sorry, I'm now reading through some of the Twitter stuff. All right, well, the same goes to any of you guys. If any of you have information on, if any of you guys have info on these the ships used in here, please tweet me. The destroyers are Kagero class, and the cruiser was a Mogami class. Interesting. Thanks, Dan. I'll have to try and remember that. Thank you, Spencer. Very cool. That was my favorite part of the stream too. You ready for? All right. It's D-Man live streaming time. Now I'm streaming all over the place. There we go. I made it a reality for you. So goofy. I think it's a good time to say that any supposed leaks will not be welcome. Are people leaking in the chat? Yeah, no leaks, guys. I know I've covered some of the rumors before, but I don't get into the spoilers. I don't get into the full leaks. I just touch upon the fact that they exist because I don't want to ruin the experience for anybody who will see the movie, including myself. I don't want spoilers either. But I personally am not believing any leaks. But if you think you're leaking something, don't leak it. I don't think any of the leaks are real, to be honest with you guys. I think Toho's run a very tight ship on this film. But if there are any real leaks, or if you're finding leaks that you believe, keep it to yourself. How about you keep that to yourself? By the way, for anybody who doesn't know, anybody who sends me leaks for this movie or Godzilla X Kong or the Monarch television show, I'll block you right away. I don't care. Goodbye. All right, now without further ado, after doing this for however, like an hour, how long have we been going? For a really long time. I'm going to get into the trailer here, and I'm going to start breaking it down. So I need to pull up my reference of it. Oh, you know what's super interesting, you guys? I'm going to put the chat to the side. So if I'm not looking at chat as much, it's because now I'm going through the trailer. But do you guys want to know something super interesting? I saw my freaking YouTube. What do you call it? Is it called doom scrolling when all you do is look at disasters and horrific stuff? That's all my YouTube feed is, and I don't like it. Like, I open up YouTube and its engine bursts into flames shortly after takeoff. Earthquake damages. I thought these were more live earthquakes. I'm going to be quite curious. That earthquake that hit in the LA region the other week, didn't even feel that thing. I was walking through the ballroom at Japan World Heroes and people started to scream. I was like, what's going on? I'm like, it's an earthquake. I'm like, when's it going to happen? And they're like, it just happened. Did you not feel it? I'm like, I did not feel it. I was a little overstimulated and I did not notice. My dad noticed. He was there and he was like, how did you not feel that thing? I was like, I don't know. I was busy hosting panels that I didn't know about. Never lose your nerd. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. He says, love you, D-Man. I'm so excited for this movie. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your support. It really means a lot to me. Thank you. When I lived in Cali, I almost never felt earthquakes. You just kind of, if you're not, I'd say if you're not like overstimulated like I was, or you either get used to them or sometimes you just don't notice. I just didn't notice. I just didn't even notice. I noticed when people said look up and I looked up and all the lights were going like this. That's when I realized that it must have happened to us. Okay, I've got the trailer pulled up. Sorry, I got distracted a second ago, but do you guys want to know something super interesting? Something very interesting is that if you compare the actual image quality of Toho's personally uploaded Godzilla trailer versus Godzilla Official, which I know is still Toho, but it's Toho US. That's American Godzilla YouTube channel. Compare the image quality of Toho's versus America's. America's Godzilla trailer, the English Godzilla trailer, actually has higher image quality. It's the same it's 1080, 1920 1080 resolution, but the pixel quality is much richer on the US trailer. So there you go. For anybody wanting to screenshot the Godzilla -1 trailer, screenshot the American one. I only ever felt like one of two while they were happening. Yeah, I didn't notice. Did you guys ever see the Oppenheimer post-credit scene of Albert Einstein discovering equals MC squared? That was a good one. Made me happy. Yeah, I don't know. Godzilla would walk in this movie? You didn't know Godzilla would walk in this movie? Why did I say Godzilla twice? I don't know why you did. But you made me read it twice too. Okay, I've got the trailer pulled up. I'm going to start to dig through it and I'll give you guys my thoughts. I'm not going to listen to the audio. I'll do that later. I'm kind of sad that they're using... I'm going to put this in my list of breakdown now. I'm doing the breakdown. Which means I'm going to shift the microphone a little bit so that I can type. Toho is using their current logo, unlike in Shin Godzilla, where they used the Toho scope logo. This one is not going for nostalgia, but rather is a modern film with a period setting. I would have personally loved to see Toho's original logo, not the Toho scope logo, but the original Toho logo. Maybe not the original, but the one that was used for the original Godzilla movie, the black and white one. I think that would have been great, or even if they used their first colored logo, the one that we see in King Kong vs. Godzilla, that'd be wonderful as well. But they're using their modern logo, which I think is very pretty, but it's just not as special, is it? I also can't wait for Godzilla to say it's -1 time. I think he's going to say it a little differently. I think he's going to say it's -1ing time. Maybe it'll be used in the film itself. It very well could be. Yamazaki has been very sneaky with the Toho logo before. Remember the way he introduces the Toho logo at the beginning of Always Sunset 2? That one uses the Toho scope logo, doesn't it? Let me check. I think it does. Yes. Yamazaki's previous film with Godzilla, always Sunset. I never know how to say this title the way it's meant to be said. Always Sunset 2 features the scope logo. It's possible it'll be used in the real film, but unlikely, seeing as though Shin used it in the trailers and the film. You didn't know Godzilla could -1 himself? Well, you're in for a treat, because he sure can. I know, man. The persecution of the masses vibes in this trailer is just wonderful. Just wonderful. All right. Let's dig through this trailer. I really like the shots of the people running through the streets here. Trying to see who's running through the streets. That's going to be important. Any of my Japanese friends out there, can anybody help me translate the Japanese text in this first wide of the trailer where all the people are running with the policeman directing them? I can't make any of these out. White Lily. White Lily. I see something for White Lily. I don't know what that is. I'll look it up. White Lily. White Lily is a food company founded in 1883. White Lily, Japan. If you look up White Lily, Japan, you get what appears to be a scandalous romance film. Oh my god. Very scandalous. Okay. Well, there you go. You get a very scandalous romance film. All right, well. White Lily was created by Alan Smith in Knoxville, Tennessee in 1883, named after his wife. I don't know what it's doing in Japan. It's cool that it's there, though. I did see the photos of the cast members in front of the Godzilla statue. It's very cool. It's very cool. Trailer starts with scenes of general chaos with people running through the streets. This is filmed in a more personal way than most Godzilla attacks. It does not feature the found footage styled camera work of Shin Godzilla or Cloverfield. This is very cinematic. This is very cinematic and modern. The filming techniques are very modern. I like the policeman guarding people. Or directing people. I like that. Poor guy. Poor policeman. We see a police officer directing traffic. And ironically, in 1947, was it 6, 7? When is this film set? See, I can't even remember my own. 1947. Ironically, in 1947, this is the most defense Japan would have against Godzilla. The most internal defense, I'll say. One thing that's interesting is how much... who's about to explode? Who's getting nuked? One thing that's interesting to me is how much they marketed the design itself before the film had a real trailer. Don't think I've ever seen other movies do that before the actual trailer's out. I don't know why they did that. Gojira ga ko no... Don't know what that was. Ni something tekuru ku to o uteimasu. I don't know what you're saying, Maru. I'm gonna translate it to find out. I don't know how to read kanji. I hope Godzilla shows up in this. I think he will. I think he will show up in this movie. I think the reason they showed the design so much is because it's just a revamp of the Godzilla the Ride, and if they had built it up as a mystery and built the anticipation, it might have let people down. I kind of feel like that's why they did that, by the way. Yeah, I know. I can't believe it's already September. I don't know where the summer went. I certainly did not get to enjoy it. It's crazy. What do you think if -1 turns out to be like in the 80s and 90s? Turns out to be like 80s and 90s Godzilla. What theories do you have the possibility of other kaiju showing up, or even Mechagodzilla? I don't know where you're going with that. I don't think it'll be like the 80s or 90s. Imagine if Shodai Goji is revealed. Shodai Goji is revealed at the end using classic suitmation. I think the suitmation would actually throw everything else off. I think if you're going to do suitmation, you should probably commit fully to it. Otherwise, it will look weird with the CG elements. But I don't think Shodai Goji will make an appearance in this movie. However, it would be cool if Godzilla evolved into the Shodai Goji. I don't think it's going to happen, but it'd be cool. Here's my take on the potential story. The United States government discovers Godzilla during World War II. They keep it secret. That's exactly what I think is going to happen too. I was thinking that too, especially with how the first real promo the film had was just the design in front and center. Yep, I think it was because they didn't want to build people up because it would let people down, considering it's not that new. Then a group of Japanese ex-Navy find out and try to kill him. I agree. All right. Gojira wa... Is this Toho? Gojira wa Toho ga... I can't read this yet. Kina no ka something e. I'm using this as an excuse to practice on my reading, by the way. If you couldn't tell, why do I read all of Maru's comments instead of just translate them all? It's because I'm trying to get practice reading the language. Ina no ga something. Is that ni? Maru, I tried. I sure tried for you. He said, Gojira no Nihon, Nihon, not Toho, Nihon. Gojira wa Nihongo Sukina no ga Kiranina no kaki ni naru. Did I say that even remotely right? I wonder if Godzilla likes or dislikes Japan. I think he's going to dislike Japan. I don't think he's going to get along with Japan. I think he's going to get very not along with Japan. I don't think it's going to go well for them at all. A lot of people didn't like the ride design either, which is so weird because when the Godzilla the ride design came out, people were like, make that be a movie design. It's so wonderful. I wonder how the reception would have been if the ride came out after the movie, like the Shin ones. I don't know. I think it actually would have probably gone over better. I think it would have gone over better. Gojira no nimu. Gojira no nimu. Something. Kina. Aruko to uteimasu. I don't know what any of these words mean. I hope we hear Godzilla has a new roar. I like the revamped 54 roar. I really like it. I don't think it's going to be a rated R movie. I don't think it's going to be a rated R Godzilla movie at all. I know it looks like it'll be intense, but I don't think it's going to be a rated R movie. All right, I'm going to keep diving into this thing here. I like the traffic guard directing feel. It's a very classic Godzilla visual. This shot is weird where you see this crowd of people running. There's this man in a white hat who's almost glowing. I don't know why he's almost glowing, but go through the trailer frame by frame and this guy's basically glowing. And then we whip over to this shot of this market. I am going to note this shot of the crowd running with the glowing old man. I don't know why he's glowing. With the glowing old man leads directly into the shot of the soldier sprinting from the first teaser trailer. There's something so horrific about this little girl. Not the fact that she's lost, which is sad, but the fact that she's the only one looking up at him is really unsettling. All right, what are you guys saying? Toho's lazy again for reusing roars. I totally disagree. It's not a reused roar. They've updated the 54 roar. And what do people want them to do? They want Godzilla to have a new roar every time? There's a reason Godzilla's roar is iconic, and it's because they keep using it. You were initially very unimpressed with the design. I'd gotten used to very different interpretations every outing. But as time has gone on, you've really loved the design more and more. The reason I love the design so much is because it's going to be our first time we ever get to see the real Godzilla in CGI. It's going to be really cool. Turns out -1 is actually Jet Jaguar, who is in a Godzilla suit in celebration of Godzilla vs. Megalon's anniversary. I completely agree. It's certainly not the 70th anniversary like they keep telling us. It is not. The design didn't shock me when I saw it, but it's a good design. More of the same, but if it works, it works. I completely agree. I do think they will use Akira's theme. The fact he's almost smaller than other versions makes it more believable. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Don't know kanji. Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla. Let me me just translate your comment. He says, we hope to see classic music in the new Godzilla movie. I completely agree, man. I hope to see classic music in this new movie as well. Just joined. What's up, GFan2000? I'm trying, Dave. I'm trying. People need to learn what a reused roar actually is. Shin reused roars, but other Reiwa Godzillas have modified roars, like literally all other movies had in the Heisei and Millennium eras. I completely agree, Godzilla 154, but the crazy thing is when people talk about the 84 roar, they say, oh, 84 was so wonderful because it gave us a new Godzilla roar. But then they'll talk about this movie and they'll say this is a reused roar. It's the same thing. They both took a roar and modified it to make a new roar out of it. This is a new roar. This is a new roar. This is the -1 roar. No one else has ever made this sound before. I have no idea if the movie's coming to Australia. I don't know. I don't know it. Okay. I'm looking up what the significance of the color red is. Red has a symbolic meaning throughout many different cultures, including life, health, vigor, war, courage, anger, love, and religious fervor. I need to learn how to read. Red is said to scare away evil spirits and represents protection, strength, peace, and power. The sun on the Japanese flag is red. Shinto priests often wear red, or at least some red, and Japanese festivals are often marked by their red decor and white curtains. Very interesting. Red is believed to bring luck in Japan, especially when paired with white. And this little girl is dressed in red and white. Yeah, red basically means everything, but I'm mostly looking up in Japan what red symbolizes. The little girl is the only one who stops and looks up at Godzilla in a way showing more, there goes the garage door, in a way showing more courage and awe than fear. It's almost like she's seeing God and can't look away. Red in Japanese symbolizes what did we say it symbolizes? Purity, strength, and peace. In a way, she's kind of a symbol for peace. In a way, she's kind of a symbol for peace. Her red and white colors call back to that of the Japanese flag, symbolizing that the peace in Japan is about to die. How horrible. This could represent how the peace in Japan is about to die. I'm gonna put my glasses on. This is killing my eyes. But red is said to scare away evil spirits and represents protection. It could be possible that she lives. That she is one of the only survivors Although that's pretty unlikely given how things turned out for the little girl in the 1954 Godzilla film, who she is in many ways a stand-in for. Wah, wah, wah. Did you just say wah, wah? That's sad. That's a sad visual. It's also sad because she's totally abandoned. I don't know how she got abandoned, but like, what the heck? Where's her family? It's also true during some real life disasters or moments of panic that children often wind up separated from their family. All right, there we go. I want Godzilla to step on her personally, like what happened to the hospital, to the girl in the hospital in GMK. I don't think we're going to personally see that. A prayer for peace, if you will. Yeah. Yep, radiation poisoning very well could be what gets her, much like the girl in the original film. I do believe that, Childish Landino, I do believe that her family will be killed in this attack. Anata no something ki na Gojira? Something wa something. Te turns to. What does te turn to? Te turns to de. This ka. Okay. Okay. I got most of what you just said there. I do play Godzilla Battle Line. I play it all the time. I shouldn't. I actually play it way more than I should. Anata no Sukina Gojira Egi wa nani desu ka? What's your favorite Godzilla movie? My personal favorite Godzilla film is King Kong vs. Godzilla from 1962. And then after that, it's the original, because I'm basic. I play Godzilla Battle Line all the time. My name's D-Man1954 on it. So if you fought D-Man1954, that was me. Playing that game way too much. I know that Godzilla X Gamera thing is just... I can't believe it. It's wonderful. Why do I feel like this this kind of movie will make me cry and feel utterly hopeless by the time the end credits roll? I have a feeling it will do the same for me. Are you an Ozu fan? I recognize the name. What's the full name? Ozu? Yasujiro Ozu? Is that what you're talking about? Because in that case, yes. Yes, I agree, Bradley. Brady, sorry. I agree. I personally think based on this trailer it looks a little better than Shin Godzilla. Okay. Little girl gets trampled. Oof. What if she gets trampled? That would be really sad if she gets trampled. The audio here is stating, what is it? To which someone replies, I don't know, something big. I think this could be a conversation that happens on the train prior to the attack. I think that it was a woman and then a man. Is that what happens? Oh, it's two men? Oh, maybe I'm wrong then. My initial thought was it was gonna be Noruki on the or Oishi. I thought it was gonna be Orishi on the train talking to somebody else. But now I'm thinking that it's actually. I think this is gonna be a conversation between Shikishima. I think he's gonna be. I think that. I don't think it'll be on the train anymore. I think that there's a conversation that happens. I think it's going to be just after the train attack that they're going to yell that. I think it's going to be just after the train attack. I think the conversation will involve. Koichi Shikishima, who we will see running around these streets in just a second. There's a little girl. There's the crowds of people running away. This woman in the orange dress, I believe, is getting stomped by Godzilla's foot in a second. Let's see. Does this appear to be the same woman? It appears to be a similar dress, a similar hairstyle. It looks like she makes it out of that encounter. I think it's the same woman in the shot where Godzilla's foot sends the earth shooting into the air. I think it's the same group of people. The woman. What kind of dress is that? Like orangish. The woman in the orangish dress running appears to be the same woman running in the shot where Godzilla's foot comes smashing down on the street. I think. Okay, what are you guys saying? Something I was seeing people talk about, despite being smaller, Godzilla feels bigger than any other version simply because we are given more ground level shots than we have had in a while. Godzilla King of the Monsters does a really good job putting us on the ground and giving us perspective during the Battle of Boston, although the shots are so chaotic that it is hard to get a sense of perspective with that. Okay. But this does look to be the most personal. This looks to be the most personally filmed Godzilla attack we've ever seen. You know what I really like? I'm not going to really point it out in my trailer breakdown. Maybe I will, just because of the historical relevance of it. But one thing I like is this shot of the feet. The actual shot of the feet running on the ground. All the people. I like how they're kind of in unison. If you've noticed, a lot of the people step in unison with each other. But another thing I really like is if you look in the background of the shot, you can see a man wearing a white shoe with, or maybe it's a woman, with these giant wooden heels on it. Can anybody in the chat tell me what those heels are called? It's a Japanese thing that people used to do to make themselves look a little taller. It's these types of wooden heels that would strap onto their shoes. But I like it because it's just giving another layer of historical accuracy to this. Anybody know what those heels are called? A lot of these shots remind me of stuff we saw in Heisei Gamera trilogy, Gamera 3 specifically. I guess I'll have to rewatch it. I don't remember. Especially the foot of his, especially the shot of his foot causing the street to collapse. Geta. They're called getas. Let's see. You are very right. Maybe I'll put on some tunes while we work. I'll have to try and find something I can put on that won't get me in trouble here. What can I turn on? I'm going to take this one out and leave this one in. Thank you for the shout out. Who was the one who said they were called getas? I don't even remember. Brady. Thanks, Brady. T-Rex wants to be eaten by Godzilla. I got the -1 shirt on TeePublic. Trying to pull up some tunes here, guys. All right. How's this? How's the volume? You guys are gonna have to let me know in the chat if this is too loud. All right. It's good. We're all good. Cool. You have a Heisei GeForce jacket. That's really cool. Some cool details in this sequence are how the people actually wind up running in sync with each other. Also, the period clothing is done very well. One small detail that helps build the realism is seeing the person running in. Get does. How do I spell that again? And get does in the background. And then we get our first shot of our leading man. We now get our first shot of our leading man, Koichi Shikishima, played by Ryunosuke Kamiki. His character bio reads, although he survived the war, he lost his parents and met Noriko in a devastated Japan. Maybe his name is fake. Who knows? Maybe it's Koichi Serizawa. What if he, assuming if the two Godzilla's theory is correct, this character could be Serizawa, who I think, according to the rumors, may have lost family in the war. I think that's what the rumors said, but again, I don't cover leaks, so kind of hard to say. We're gonna see him in a second. He'll be in this trailer again, don't worry. He shows up. Oh, I love this shot. I love the shot of the I love the shot of the soldiers. Or sorry, what am I saying? I love the shot of the guys in the train. Soldiers, what am I talking about? This shot of the shot of Shikishima shows him in the aftermath of Godzilla's attack, most likely watching Godzilla walk away. He may be one of the only survivors. We're gonna see him running with a woman in a minute. I'm wondering if she's gonna die. That's a great shot of these shot of the conductors. Shot of the conductors in the train is pulled straight from the 1954 film, but now you can see the other train car flying in through the reflection on their windshield. Thank you very much, the boxing historian 206. Thank you very much. He says, I'm thinking that the rumor of two Godzillas is true with the trailer. I'm not sold on the rumor, but I guess we'll see. I do like that if you frame by frame it, you can, you can see the train cart coming in at them. That's very fun. This train cart, by the way, it takes this very unrealistic nosedive into the ground. I don't like the arc of it. It does not make a lot of sense to me, but I'm thinking that the reason it does this is because it seems to clip one of the wires up above. It seems to clip a wire, which sends it going from more of an arc to straight down. I might review the Godzilla Justice League comic just because it's so popular, but I'll see if I like it, I guess. I'll see if I can review it. I'll see if I can get a PDF of it I can review, I guess. Yeah, the train hitting the ground looks very awkward. I don't know. It's because it goes from an arc to all of a sudden straight down. Its trajectory doesn't make much sense is what looks weird about it. It also crunches a little strange, but for the budget, the movie looks gorgeous. I'm actually very impressed with the CGI. The trains got their revenge in Shin Godzilla. Now Godzilla has to set things back. You're so true. I think the little girl is dead. It looks like an insect compared to Godzilla. Yes, I think she will die. The train... Why? According to my calculations. Did I do that right? Is that what you were wanting? It was a weird request. Train's flying in. Trajectory of the train doesn't look like it makes much sense until you notice it. What were you wanting me to say? According to my calculations. Like that? The trajectory of the train doesn't make much sense until you notice it seems to clip one of the wires. What are those? Does anybody know what those guiding wires above these trains are? Are they electrical wires, or is the train running on? Are they electrical wires powering the train? If anybody knows, could you let me know? I know it. I know I am. Clip one of the yeah. One of the electrical wires above the track, forcing it into the ground. Cable wires. Thank you. One of the cable wires. Okay, T-Rex. The first one's free, but the next one's gonna cost you. Yeah, the CG looks great. It's almost like we don't need films to be $500 billion with insane crunch and VFX artists abuse to look good. Isn't it just true? What's so goofy is that this movie genuinely holds up better than, I would say, any American movie I've seen in the last year. And it's probably because they allowed years... a year for the CGI to be done on a pace that Yamazaki was comfortable with, considering he was the one handling it himself. That's dark, man. All of the people in the train suddenly spilled into the front, causing it to land like it did. That's dark stuff. What is the budget for this movie? I have no idea. Shin Godzilla's budget was only 15 million, so I'm gonna guess this movie's probably 20 million. It's gonna be my guess. Do you think we'll see a man in a suit scene? I do not. We need a Doug cameo. He needs to... I don't need a Doug cameo until I see another Skeleturtle cameo. Yeah, Shin was not always consistent with its VFX, I'll say. Well, bam! Yeah, what it is it's doing a bit of an Andrew Garfield here. Remember the way that Andrew Garfield lands in No Way Home, where he hits too quickly and rebounds too quickly, and there's no weight to it? What's happened here is the trajectory of the train goes from being an arc to straight down, but then when it hits so aggressively, but it doesn't continue to fly forward, it just plants. That's what's making it look weird, is that it plants in place rather than... You'd think it would hit and go poof and continue either through or across, but it just hits. Shin was also hurt by that massive animatronic that ate all the budget, only to never get used. Yeah, yes, very true. Childish Landino, that's cool. I did not get a plush with it. Wasn't it way more than 40? Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was way more than $40. Yamazaki's had some practice with this shot here. This shot of Godzilla coming through the smoke. What is he shaking off of his head? Godzilla's shaking something off of his head. He's doing a little bit of a head bobble. I like the shot. Yamazaki's had some practice with that shot. That's not his first time using this shot. Shot of Godzilla's face appearing from the smoke is very similar to not only the shot of Godzilla emerging from the smoke in Shin Godzilla, but also Yamazaki's trailer for Godzilla the ride and the actual Godzilla reveal in the ride. Also, Godzilla appears to be shaking something off his head in this shot, sending debris flying. I don't think he's been shot. This does not look like smoke as much as it does look like ash, I guess. Rubble from a building. I think Godzilla has done something to himself that caused this. I think he's like bit into something, like crashed his head through a building or something. Maybe he's just done an atomic breath. I don't know. What do you guys think is happening in this shot with his head coming through the smoke? I think he's coming through a building. I think he's bursting through a building in that shot. He's doing a little jiggy. He sure is. Maybe it's Godzilla crashing or walking through a building. That's what I thought. We've seen Godzilla burp but not sneeze before. It's a good point. Yeah, people on top of the building. That shot is scary. All right. Yeah, I think he's coming through a building. I think that's mystery solved. I love this shot. I love it. I love it. It's my favorite shot of the trailer. And this character is Noriko Oishi, played by Minami Hamabe, whose name sounds familiar. Minami Hamabe. Minami Hamabe. Oh, she's from Shin Kamen Rider. Is she in? Wonder what else she's in. Well, there you go. She's in Shin Kamen Rider. Good year for her. Good for her, man. Okay. I think there's a lot going on in this shot. Is she in a train? She's not moving. Is she in a train? There's a lot going on in this shot that I like. So I like the it's got a really good claustrophobic nature, trapping her in there. Meanwhile, I like that you see people moving behind her. The wires crossing the window make me think this is the train that will be attacked in a later shot, but it could be just a building because it's stationary. We'll see her escape. She's going to be running through the city later. Godzilla's approach is very looming, like in the Heisei movies, and his tail do be wagging like in those films as well. I don't know if you noticed that, but his tail's doing little wagging in the background. I like it a lot. He's also got kind of a Shin Godzilla bowling pin build. We also see what I think is the Ginza clock tower in frame left. I think that's the Ginza clock tower in frame left. Yes, that is a train. Can you please explain the explosion at the end of the trailer? There was a flash of blue that went off. That's Godzilla's atomic breath. Yeah, I'd say go for it for the guy asking about for dispenser. I'd say go for it. With stop motion, go for it. Do it. Everybody's thinking it's the train. Everybody's thinking she's in a train. Godzilla will destroy you. Yikes. Hey, Maru. Can you help me transcribe what she says? Maru.
Gojira. あれはゴジラ。
Harewa? Godzilla. She says Godzilla. Harewa? I don't know the word Harewa. Unless she says karewa. Karewa? What did she say? Karewa?
それはゴジラですか?
それは? それは? Damn, she says それは? それは? Thank you, Maru. I appreciate that. I know it translate. I know it has subtitles. That's not quite what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the words she uses. I'm interested in the actual words she uses. It does sound like she says, ha, harewa, sorewa. I don't know. Kind of reflects Yaguchi's line in Shin Godzilla. She appears to ask if it's Godzilla, not Gojira. Godzilla might be named by the US in their document warning be much like in Shin Godzilla. So the name may have been released to the press, not the... She got so scared she forgot Japanese. To the... Not what he is. Yeah, it's possible that they've told the public that Godzilla exists, but they haven't told them what he is. They said a large aquatic creature, so you never know. They sure did, didn't they? They said something. They said big fish. Okay.
Gojira.
Ah, forgot to mute the trailer. Alright, continuation shot. Godzilla bites the train. Sorewa. Sorewa? Sorewa? I thought we already said that, Maru. Is that not what we said? Sorewa. Sorewa. Gojira. I think she says if we're saying she says sorewa, I think she's saying sorewa Godzilla. I don't think they're gonna do a Mothra -1 or a Rodan -1. Kaijutopia, I don't know where that rumor comes from. That's wrong. That's incorrect. That's never, literally never in history. I don't know where you heard that. That's really embarrassing for you. I agree, -1 does appear to be the most menacing Godzilla. Now I have to draw a skater, Goji? Go for it. I do think there will be some genuine horrific and tense scenes. I do think so, yes. Thank you guys for all tuning into the stream, by the way. I know it's kind of a boring one for you guys, but I'm having fun. I hope you guys are too. I hope you guys are too. It's always fun to discuss the new stuff. It's so much fun. I love it. I miss doing streams like this. I mean, I didn't do streams like this much back in the day, but I do miss doing this stuff. I miss streaming more. I know. I'm looking forward to seeing Godzilla obliterate the Navy as well. You know why I don't think Godzilla can be 40 meters is this shot of his tail swiping through the buildings. He looks enormous. He looks way too big to be just 40 meters. There's no way he's only 40 meters based on the shot of his tail here alone. I don't believe it. Oh, thanks. Thanks, saying great flow. I appreciate it. My son was learning Japanese before going to the Air Force and said that in actuality there are multiple sub-dialects of Japanese. I'm sure there are. It's just like you can learn English, but are you learning English or are you learning American English? You can learn American English, but are you learning Midwest, South, some of those other Eastern accents? You know, I don't really know of what Western accents are considered, but I'm sure there are a few. Or Northern accents. There's the Northern accents as well. You have renewed hope for this film? I'm glad to hear it. No one wants to learn the British one. What you should be learning is the transatlantic accent. That's a good one to learn. Counting in German sucks. I used to know German back in the day. Here's where we get into the interesting stuff. This shot of the people running away from the tail swipe. In this shot of the tail swipe. Also, Godzilla doing a tail swipe here just shows that this Godzilla is not a kind Godzilla. He's not kind at all. Like, he's fully... I think he's fully causing... Like, he's causing destruction with malice. Shin Godzilla just walked. Heisei Godzilla just walked. And it's why I've always felt like the potential for a Godzilla solo film has barely been scratched. And it's because so much of the time he's just walking to a place. Here he's actually actively and maliciously destroying things. In this crowd, we actually see both of our leads running together. Shikishima already has his head in a bandage, meaning he's probably had an encounter with Maybe he's had an encounter with Godzilla at sea. This also means Oishi escapes the train. And meets back up with Shikishima. Because they're running together, and then the tail swipes through the crowd, killing a bunch of people. You speak Japanese very well. I don't think I do, but thank you. Here, I'll try and see if I can read it. Anata no nihongo ga. Anata no nihon ga totemu. Don't know these characters. This. I don't know what those other characters are. I can only kind of read hiragana. What's my words per minute typing? I have no idea. Yes, we finally see another truly evil Godzilla. Let's go. Let's go. He got all the kills. Let's go. I can't actually think of a Godzilla destruction sequence in a movie where he's actively maliciously destroying things in a purposeful way since the 54 film, other than maybe that one scene right at the end of... What's up with that one scene right at the end of Godzilla 2000 where he goes on a rampage? Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will keep trying. I'll keep doing my best to learn. All right. We have an extended shot of Godzilla's foot stepping down. We might see some familiar faces in the crowd. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I did forget GMK. That's my bad. Sorry, GMK. It's just because GMK... Yeah, he does, I guess. I just, when I think about that movie, I always think about the fighting other monsters first and the destruction scene second. Matatore yo ichinichi wo. See you later. Have a nice day. I don't think I said that right, but I had to translate that one. I didn't get to read that one on my own. All right. Goodbye, Maru. See you later. Trying to think of other ways to say goodbye other than just saying sayonara. But sayonara. Dozo yoroshiku. I haven't seen you in the chat before. It was nice to meet you. All right. Goodbye, Maru. Ciao. Is that how you say it? Ciao? Is that what people say? I think they do. Johnny. Oh, you're right. Johnny. That's actually the exact one that I was trying to think of, because I didn't want to just say sayonara, but Johnny. That's actually literally exactly what I was wanting to say. Thanks, Dan. All right, this shot shows reporters on a building that cracks, sending them plummeting into the ground. It's kinda like the shot from Titanic where all the band members die, but it is more directly related to the shot from the 1954 Godzilla film where all the reporters were on the radio tower when Godzilla attacked, sending them sliding down and eventually falling to their deaths. This was one of the only instances of miniature bodies being used in the original film. Yes, Godzilla was going for the Vic Roy. It's a good question, Upbeat. I don't know. Now, I'm trying to look here if one of our main characters is on this roof, because a camera that looks like his is. We do have a character who I believe is going to be a reporter. I think he's going to be filling in for basically Hagiwara in this movie. And this is Shiromizu Shima, played by Yuki Yamada. I don't see anybody on this roof dressed in his clothing, though. So I'm thinking he's probably not on this roof. Oh, wait. Someone's got a similar hat, but I don't see his full outfit. But the main picture they released of him is of him in a sling, so he might get injured while this building is falling down. I don't know how he would survive it if that's true, but it's possible. It's possible that he's on that roof and just gets lucky enough to survive. I really like that shot of all of them falling together. It's a great shot. Will characters die? I'd say so. I have no idea if there are two Godzillas in this movie. I personally don't think so, but I could be proven wrong. Okay. What if the two Godzillas was just the friends we made along the way? Very true. All right, we see this woman in a red flannel. This woman in a red flannel is running alongside our main characters in both shots. Close-up shows our main characters running through the... Methlo Kaiju fan, I've seen you getting into all sorts of fights in my comment section lately. It's pretty goofy. A close-up shows our main characters running through the streets. This is connected to the shot of the tail swiping the building. It's probably right before that. Then we cut to this beautiful wide shot. It's great, of Godzilla's feet coming down. Looks really great. I love it. Yeah, after this shot, I'm not thinking that he... I don't know how he could possibly be only 40 meters. I mean, these buildings look like they're 4 stories high each. 4 stories high, and they're barely breaking his foot. This all happens in the Ginza ward of Tokyo, which is where the original Godzilla attack took place. Therefore, the malicious feels more personal. Very true. This shot is freaking crazy. Whatever's happening here. Buildings being absolutely blasted into pieces. And the smoke clears just enough for us to see a bomb start to eat through this city. Huh. I don't know what caused that. I'm very curious about this shot. Is it an atomic bomb? Does Godzilla get nuked? I don't think so, because we see characters survive this. So I don't think it could be a nuclear bomb, but it looks like it could be. No, but here's our lead characters watching it happen. I don't think our lead characters get hit with a nuclear bomb. That's a little unrealistic. Yeah. But the difference in Hiroshima and Nagasaki was the people who survived weren't standing right next to it without being, they weren't standing right in front of it without cover. These people have no cover. Yeah, well, yeah, it alludes to it being nuclear because that's kind of the point of Godzilla. It's not a hydrogen bomb. Those wouldn't have been invented yet. I don't think so. I don't think Godzilla took most of the blast. He can only shield it heading that direction. He can't shield it heading towards us. I think the oxygen destroyer very well could appear. People don't realize how devastating the bomb actually were. People were vaporized off the streets. It's not something you survive from close range. Not to mention, if this was an atomic bomb, these people a flash of light would happen and all of the people this close to it would instantly be melted away. There'd be no standing there waiting for it to catch up to you. The fireball wasn't what killed everybody. It was the initial thermal, the heat that came out in such a blinding white flash in an instant. It wasn't, nobody's standing around waiting to get hit by the fireball this close to the explosion. But it is supposed to definitely reference the atomic bomb. You think it's a tall boy? What's a tall boy? An earthquake bomb developed by the British Royal Air Force during the Second World War. Very well could be. Could it be a Grand Slam bomb? An earthquake bomb. Used in Germany. Oh. That's the same bomb. A tall boy and a Grand Slam. Same bomb. Tall boy bomb. Radius. I don't see anything about the radius. That's an F-bomb. Those are more devastating than anything. I agree. Yes, I am researching bombs now, yeah. Have fun watching Touch of Evil. Hello, I'm from Japan, the land of Godzilla. What's up? What's up, man? I recognize you from Twitter. MGDA 2023. What's up, man? A D-man bomb, yes. I don't think the explosion's far away from Godzilla at all. I think he's right in it. Hey, whoever it was in the comment that told me about the tall boys, how were they deployed? Were they dropped from planes? Could they be dropped from planes? Yes, Godzilla 154 is correct. Dropped from bombers. Cool. This might just be a crazy theory, but I personally think that this shot shows the United States responding to Godzilla with so much firepower that they're actually more deadly than he is. Kind of like going back to Shin Godzilla, the promise that was made in Shin Godzilla. Subway 51, it's possible that they're working together. I'll say the Allies, because I know they mentioned allies in the previous teaser. Rick Jones, they very well could have in this universe when Godzilla shows up. In this universe, they've known about Godzilla since probably the war, and they've had encounters with him, so they may very well have created more atomic weapons than they had in real life. Also, this shot of all of the spectators looking on at this disaster, it definitely reminds me of some of the imagery from September 11th. But I don't even know if I should mention that in my video because I feel like that could offend people or freak them out. We see our two leads standing here. I don't know how likely it is we'll get a Skull Island Season 2, especially with all the strikes going on right now. I do think Oishi might die in this scene. What is Tokyo PX? I freaking knew it. I knew it. I knew I recognized that building. This scene. This scene happens in front of the Ginza clock tower. This is happening directly in front of it and is the cause of all the destruction in the trailer, or in the first trailer. So that means in the first teaser, the clips of everybody digging through the rubble, that's the clock tower is right next to them. This explains the downward obliteration seen in that trailer. Or calling back to the imagery of the Tokyo firebombs. Which the original Godzilla film also used heavy inspiration from that imagery. Took out at least a chunk of the city. It's a small nuke. They didn't have nukes this small in this time period. I don't think so. Another reason the bomb seems non-nuclear is because there's quite a bit left standing in the teaser. What also makes me think Godzilla, and by extension any collateral damage caused trying to kill him so devastating, is the fact that they won't be able to evacuate anyone at all. That's a very good point. Yeah, no. Everybody's just standing there. I like the shot because it frames Godzilla as if he's the first spectator to this destruction. And this wave of rubble is about to hit our main characters. And it kind of reminds me of the footage from Beirut. That's a good theory, Dan. But I don't know why. I don't think there would be any bombs in the heart of Tokyo that would just be sitting around waiting to be detonated. I don't think that would happen. But this devastation is wild. This devastation very clearly pulls from nuclear inspo. But again, the fireball is not big enough. The shockwave is not big enough. Well, shockwave is big enough. Fireball's not big enough. Fireball's not big enough. Hey guys, what's the nuclear bomb footage? The very famous footage of all of the houses getting destroyed, the Nuketown, the Nuketown footage. Does anybody know what that bomb was, so I can write it down? What was that? Where did all that footage come from? Post-war Japan had lost everything. Now we see all the footage from the first trailer. Now it all makes a little more sense. what you guys are talking about. Those were tests in Nevada. But we don't know the bomb. We don't know the bomb itself. From 0 to minus. This stuff's great. Doomtown footage. Thank you. Did they test hydrogen bombs on land? I didn't think they tested hydrogen bombs on land. I thought they tested atomic bombs on land. I thought the hydrogen bombs were in the Pacific Proving Ground. Okay, guys, it's time to send me what these ships are. Are they Japanese? Are they American? I saw people talking about that. Yes, the Ginza building was from the original, yes. Could be a Nishin type ship. The ships are Imperial Japanese Navy ships. Could be a Nishin. Doesn't look like a Nishin to me. Well, maybe I can identify it later. Oh, you also, Mr. Puffin also thinks it's a Nishin. Okay, I'll put it down. It's the Japanese cruiser getting grabbed. You can tell by the guns and rangefinders. The ships here seem to be Nishin. Seem to be Nishin cruisers. They appear to be Imperial Japanese Navy ships. You know why else is because it's Japanese actors. These scenes could be set during the war, which is why they have them. All right, now to try and translate what this guy's shirt says. obey class or Megami. Thank you, Mr. Puffin. Appreciate it. I can't read this guy's shirt. He doesn't. I'm trying to find out what type of uniform this guy's wearing, if you're wondering what I'm doing. Imperial Japanese Navy flight suit, it appears to be. Imperial Japanese Navy flight suit. What's up? Welcome back. I do think all this stuff is set during the war. Let me see all the bodies of his fallen soldiers. Do we know this actor? Is this our main guy? This very well could be our main guy a few years before the events of the movie. I think it is. I think that's our main guy. Maybe he'll go out in a very Kobayashi way. Maybe he'll rejoin the army at the end of the movie to take on Godzilla and die fighting Godzilla. Who knows? I think this very well could be my fave Godzilla movie. But these men don't look to be part of the effort. This looks to be a Japanese fishing ship. The next ship. And this man doesn't... He's got a hat on that makes me think he could be in the army. There you go. Now it looks like we've got the ship. Thank you, Mr. Puffin. That looks more like it. I'm excited to see battleships too. It's not the W-54. That was not invented for like 10 plus, 20 plus years. I think it'd be cool if Godzilla jumped out of the water. It's very, Godzilla did that in Singular Point. Mr. Puffin, you seem to kind of be the expert on ships here. Is this a Japanese fishing ship that comes after the shot of the dead bodies? We go from the shot of the dead bodies to a shot of a man wearing like leaves on his arms or something. Like, what is that? I can't tell what that is. Wearing some sort of pattern that doesn't look like he's in uniform, and he's on a ship that, to me, it does not look like a naval ship. Maybe it is. I can't tell. I'm not good with ships. Cannot tell. I like that line. Why were we called out here? I'm thinking that this microfilm presentation that they watch, this is what I've been writing. I'm thinking that the microfilm presentation they watch is not shot for shot or anything like that, but I'm thinking it is generally the same thing that we saw, the same 30-second teaser we saw, or however many second teaser we saw to promote this. The teaser used to promote the trailer. I'm thinking that a lot of that footage is going to be unveiled in this presentation. Because it's from the US. I think it's going to be the way the US is trying to debrief the Japanese. The ship that's wrecked is a transport ship. I don't know how this film will influence the future of kaiju films. Thank you very much, Mr. Puffin. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. The wrecked ship looks like a cargo ship. I don't know what wrecked ship you're talking about. Dan thinks it's a Matsu class ship. They don't look very similar from the top view, though. I don't think so. I think it might be the Yukuru ship. I think it might be the Yukuru class. I like these shots of the presentation. Very Monarch. Very Monarch styled. Yeah, very much like the shots in Godzilla 2014, and actually it reminds me a lot of Kong Skull Island. I'd love to see what this sign says. I wonder if I'm going to be able to translate it. Wonder if I'll be able to translate it. Giant creature damage situation. And then the rest of it is a little too muddy. One of these lines appears to address Ginza. What was it? Giant creature. So it says, the whiteboard says giant creature damage situation. Could be two different ships, one American, the other entirely the other Imperial Japanese Navy. The editing makes it seem like Godzilla's attacking one. You know what? The Navy fight we see wasn't even an attack on Godzilla. What if the naval fight we see wasn't even an attack on Godzilla, but rather the first time he's encountered? That's exactly what I think it is. I think it's the first time he shows up in the war. I think that's set during the war. I don't think that's set after, because we saw a guy in Japanese Imperial Japanese clothing. So I think it's set during the war. I'm thinking this might be a controversial hot take, but if there is a Serizawa in this movie, I'm thinking it's the guy with the gray curly hair. I think it's that guy because his name's kept a mystery on the cast list. If there is a oh wait, no it isn't. No, his name's right there. Wait a minute. Unless that name's just fake. Well then maybe I'm wrong. We just don't know what his occupation is. All right. Well, guys, I think we've gone on for quite a while. I do have to get going here just for a bit. I'm going to get back to work after just a second. But I actually think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Please, please, please comment all your theories on this movie in these comment sections. If you've got evidence and stuff to break down, comment it. You're not allowed to work. Sorry, I gotta get running. Please comment all your theories on the rest of this trailer. I know we've still got about 20 seconds left to cover. Please comment all your comments on the back 20. If you can identify any of these ships, if you can identify anything going on, if you've got theories as to what we're seeing, if you've got any ideas about what we're seeing with the Navy attack, any info you guys may have, please comment it below and I'll try and put it into my breakdown. I am going to get running. This is the Batman 2022 of the Godzilla franchise. That's such a great comparison, Dorky Films. That's great. Yeah, I've got to get running. I've just got so much to do. So I'm going to get going, guys. And then I'm going to get back to work on this script. Off stream, I'll keep working on it. I'll keep doing my research and stuff. Now you get a little behind the scenes into the research process and why it takes me so long. Well, it's also taking me long because I'm streaming at the same time and interacting with the stream, and that definitely eats up my attention span. But anything you guys may have found, please let me know down below. I'll take it into consideration. I'm gonna assume that it's gonna take me days to get the full breakdown out, just due to I have to go to set tomorrow. So, and I'll be on set all the rest of the week. So I'm not gonna be able to necessarily do the YouTube thing like I want. So I'm gonna be a bit of an absent fella these next few days, but I'll do my absolute best to do what I can for you guys. I want to thank you guys all so much for joining. It's been a really fun time. It's been a great stream. This has been a lot of fun. I plan on streaming more with you guys because it is so much fun. So thank you guys all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I guess I'll see you guys next time for the next one. It's been great talking to everybody. I really miss doing this stuff, so I want to do it more. But That's my time. If you want, you can please check out the Patreon. Please support the Patreon. The link's in the description below. That's the best and most direct way towards supporting this channel and making sure I can keep making videos like this for you guys. We can also then chat on the Discord, which I'll try and pop on this week while I'm on set so that I can still interact with you guys. But I guess I will see you guys next time for the next one. D-Man out. Now I have to press the stop recording button. All right, bye guys. I'll see you guys next time.